Welcome back, everyone, to the Swans Cast podcast, where I'm joined today by the Send Him Off podcast as well. Kind of like a little bit of a collaboration here. We've got Alex and we've got Sam joining for this week's episode, where we're going to discuss all things Swansea, the current form, the thumping at Burnley, and obviously play a little game at the end. What was the team when? And this time is going to be Swansea played Reading in 2011. Everyone remember that game, the playoff final. So maybe it's a little bit easy for the first time we've done it with guests, but we'll see which one of them really knows their Swansea City history, I guess. I mean, it's what, going on 11 years now. It seems a long time since we got to the Premier League, so see how good your memories are, I guess. But how have you two been anyway? I haven't spoken to you for a while.
It's been a while, isn't it?
Not too
been
bad.
all right, yeah. Life's going. Swans were flying. Crash back down to earth now, isn't they?
Yeah. Well, we'll get into the details of that. Sam, what have you been up to?
Well, just a bit of pod really and work, innit? We've been podding away.
Work.
But no, it's nice to see that the Swans have crashed back down to earth just in time for me to be back in the stadium. I missed a few games. Genuinely, I was saying to Alex, I worked out that this is fantastic, right? Since the start of the season, in person or on TV, club or international, I've not watched my team win.
This season or ever?
Yeah, this season.
It feels like forever.
If it was ever,
God,
I'd be
all
worried.
The victories, I've been like gigging or I've been busy. The Watford game on TV, I was out, so I couldn't watch it. Wales haven't won. I went to see the Wales women, but not the one they won. It was the 0-0, and we got sold again.
It's been a tough whole season for Sam.
Here's the important question, right? And I'm quite scared to ask this question, actually. Are you going to be watching Swansea against Cardiff next Sunday?
Possibly. I haven't got my hands on the ticket yet, but I definitely be watching on TV.
Swans cast.
I've not managed to blag myself a ticket
Game
yet.
over. Podcast ended, guys. Thanks for listening this week, and we'll catch you a month after we've lost on Sunday. No, I'm joking. Obviously, we're not going to lose on Sunday. Let's not jinx it. Alex, the curse is going to be broken. Or you're not going to watch the game. Either one. Not Alex, sorry, Sam. Either one. Alex is going to stop Sam watching the game.
Whatever tickets are available, just send them another way.
If you see this man down the stadium, do not let him in.
He's in a shifty black cap. But no, look, I'm reasonably because at the time we're recording, we're playing Reading tomorrow. I'm reasonably confident about tomorrow. I feel like Reading are one of those teams you just don't know, do you? They're sort of hot and cold. I feel like we're going to catch them on a cold spell.
Well, before we get into that football, if you're reasonably confident, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you to give you the grief or the I don't know, support your words of wisdom after the podcast and after the game?
Yeah, so you can find us on pretty much all streaming sites. If you just search for Send Him Off podcast, we like having a bit of we're a bit stupid, and we are, to be fair. We don't take things too seriously. We have a bit of a laugh, but we like to have a guest on. Particularly, we like having comedians on a lot, and we like to speak to them mainly about their football memories. And some of them are very funny, but you get the odd heartwarming moment, than we are now and again.
We like to make sure we balance it. So if
it's got to have your balance.
We'll have a serious moment.
So
exactly.
But social media wise, we're on Twitter at Send Him Off Pod. Instagram's at Send Him Off Podcast. TikTok is something like that as well.
TikTok, keep an eye out for our TikTok.
We are working on a TikTok, getting like down to the kids, and because apparently we need more TikTok presence. So that's where you can find us. We'd love you to come along for the ride.
I'll try and link it all in the comments below.
What a gentleman!
Yeah. And maybe you can give me some TikTok tips as well. We're trying to get a bit more presence there. I keep getting told us where to be. We had a good video there the other day, but it was just a video I recorded when we were up at the West Brom game, and that went a bit viral for our standards. For our standards, it has, I think, 200k views now, which is crazy.
200k views.
All it is Obafemi shouting, "You Jack bastard," back at the fans. And everyone in the comments is like, why is everyone saying "you fat bastard"? Like... Obviously, all the people I've seen on TikTok who aren't Swans fans don't understand what's going on, and they're like,
"I don't think." To be fair, mate, I don't think Cardiff fans understand.
Well, there's a couple of them in the comments. And they're saying that we nicked their chant, apparently. I don't get that one either.
I'm not even going to go there.
No, I know. No. Interesting breed, and they up the road, so... But yeah, so that's been our most viral video. Other than that, we get like 2K max, so a little bit of a difference. But that's just putting clips of the podcast on. I don't really know the best place to like all these stuff you see on there, people editing and that. Other than doing it on a PC, I wouldn't know how to do it on your phone. Got any? No ideas.
We've got absolutely nothing. We went out and we got wet. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, on Wine Street in the rain.
On Wine Street, yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't beer being thrown in the air then.
Wet t-shirt contest, like that's next week.
I'll keep an eye out for that one. That sounds like an interesting watch. Is it going to be the tears after Sunday?
Yeah,
we won't say from which side. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's get into the football. So you did already touch on it, guys, but recent form. We did have 4 wins in a row. We haven't actually done a podcast since the Sunderland win, so we will touch a little bit on that. Obviously, Swansea beating Sunderland 2-1. It looks like the season had taken a dramatic turn. All of a sudden, in the space of, I think, 3 weeks, we went from the bottom 3 to the top 6, 3 points off top of the table, which unheard of, really. The way that the fan base was talking, the vibe around the place, the feeling around Martin. 3 weeks ago, you would never have thought 3 points off top. People were like worried maybe we'd be looking over our shoulder about going the other direction. But it looked like it was starting to get better. And then we went up to Burnley, and you could say a goal for each win, but we lost 4-0. Was quite a different performance, I guess, from the other games. But maybe the quality of the opposition is something we should take into context. So some of the stuff we're going to discuss today. So, Sam, do you want to start us off with your thoughts about the recent form? I mean, I guess you never watched any of those wins.
No, I've seen highlights. None of them have been live because I'm too scared to tune in now, Luke.
But you watched Burnley, did you, I guess?
No, I didn't actually, to be fair.
Okay.
I was out, but my life has been mad the last few months.
That's fair. I feel you. I don't manage to watch them.
I don't have Saturdays myself even, but it's, this weekend. Tomorrow I make my return.
Okay.
So Reading are in for a nice night, I think. No, I don't know. I'm just going to say it now. I get absolutely roasted in the voice group chat. I had my doubts about Russ Martin for a while this season. Had my doubts. Was quite reactionary, I'll be honest. But my
is this after Burnley now?
No, completely not. Like previous games.
Okay.
You know,
you're not the only one.
September.
Before the big wins. Yeah, September.
Yeah. Not the only one.
Very, very reactionary. However, my biggest problems were I felt he was stubborn and there was no sort of plan B, and it was so obvious to so many people that where the issues were, and nothing was being changed week in, week out. And also I always felt that there was no like real accountability in his interviews. There's no like, it's my fault, my bad. I'm the coach. It was my decisions.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 big issues. In the last month, he has completely changed my opinion. Completely. And I'm glad to be made to look rather foolish in the boys group chat. Yeah. I look like a little bit of an idiot. But I'm really, really glad that I have. So it's nice that he's proven me wrong. He's starting, like Burnley, he just went, yeah, it was my fault. I was like, well done, Russ. Thank you for proving me wrong. You made me look like a right idiot. But I've never been more happy to be made to look a fool.
No, do you know what? Like everything you've just said has literally described our podcast this season and how the trajectory of what we've been saying, Lee specifically as well, gets it's very similar thoughts of what you've just described. I called Russell Martin out quite a lot about his stubbornness in the period where we weren't really scoring, we weren't really getting results. Wasn't convinced that he would make the changes required to like necessarily just get a result. Obviously, he trusts his system and he thinks the system's going to work. And I just thought he's just going to keep going with that until it does work. He's not going to change it. But he did against QPR, I think was the first game at home, where we actually had less possession than QPR at home, which was, I was shocked by it, to be honest, when I saw, because before that, for the season, we were averaging over 70%. And that's such a shift. And I think a lot of it also came with the change of goalkeeper with Stephen Bender. Another thing I was very shocked to see. I called him up for being stubborn, and I took it back in the last couple of podcasts where I say take it back, and you said you looked silly, but I don't think you look silly. I think it's,
I did.
but I think it's
I
fair
did
enough.
look silly. No,
All
no,
right,
no.
well,
I'm saying nothing until I'm called upon.
I did look silly.
Okay.
I looked a fool.
To an extent, I think it's fair enough to raise some of these concerns, is what I'm saying, and then to acknowledge when they are addressed as well. I think that is part of what you should do as a fan. I know you can go to either extreme, but I think it's constructive, and everyone should be well within their rights to call out what they think is going wrong in a kind of nice way, have a discussion about it, like, that sort of thing. Not the nasty stuff you see sometimes online. But then if you are going to do that and you're going to highlight some of the stuff you think should improve, when it does change equally, and you've owned up yourself to having your mind changed, so I think that's fair. You should acknowledge some of the stuff's been sorted or changed in the way you were asking. So and not everyone would do that, to be fair. You've seen plenty of them after the Burnley game coming back out from their caves for the Russell Martin out and all the rest of it.
The apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect. So I would like to use this platform to address Russell Martin directly. I say, Russell, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. And if you'll have me, I would love to come back onto the Rust bus.
Well, you'd be surprised, man. I don't know how much content or whatever he sees through. I think he was talking on the Swansea. They launched their own podcast, didn't they? He talked about Reece Bish.
Individual. I wasn't going to name him, but when you came to me, I was going to talk a little bit about that.
Oh, I got nothing bad to say about him. But just people would have heard if they watched the podcast, didn't they? So, but I just the fact that he's mentioned that. I mean, just don't know how much they see.
He's quite switched on to the fans, But to be fair, we spoke with Chris Reeve, who's from Talk Norwich City. Way back when Russ was appointed last year. He knows Russ quite, personally they know each other, obviously through the Norwich circles and stuff. And he said one thing that Russ really would do is get connected with the fans and sort of be switched on to that side of things. And that is one thing I do. I'll take my hat off to him. I think you always see him out and about, and he always seems to stop for pictures with fans and stuff. I've not had the pleasure of bumping into him yet, but I'd like to apologize in person if I get a chance.
You're bringing him a cake in this street.
Oh, I'm making him a cake. Yeah, happy days.
Yeah. What flavour? That's the big question, I guess.
Don't know.
You stuck him right under the.
You got time to think about it. Maybe
I go lemon drizzle because I look a bit of a lemon.
Oh well, yeah. I was going to say, go ask Chris Reeve what's his favourite. Maybe you can get some inside tips there and
maybe
sort him right out. But Russell, if you are listening, I'm sure either one of us would have you on the podcast to discuss the goings on at the club.
Come along, Russ. Tell us what football means to you.
Yeah, come talk about your memories and some of your comedic stuff on the Send Him Off podcast. I'm sure they would love it. Anyway, Alex, what about your thoughts on the start of the season then? Not start of the season, the recent form, sorry.
Yeah. I never once did my trust. I know me and Sam, me and the boys, we had discussions. This is football. This is like being a football fan. My opinion was I'm firmly on the side of Russell Martin. I trusted implicitly. That was my stance. All right. That's where I was stood. And I'm very pleased to say that what I had said, because I knew that he was stubborn. I'm willing to say that from our point of view. Perhaps there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and that's always going to be the case with football. But when he picks a team, you pick that team because you believe that team is the best team to get the result. And if you are picking those teams and those strikers aren't scoring, because he picked Obafemi, the whole Obafemi transfer saga that sort of went a bit sour. So then he ended up dropping Obafemi, got Perot in, playing his number 9 role or whatever, playing him up top. That seemed to work a bit better. So I said, come October, I think we'll see a change in form. Come late September, early October, that's exactly what happened. And I was glad that happened because it feels now as if we don't need Obafemi as much as we thought we did.
Yeah.
Because the whole transfer saga, the whole, his throwing his toys out the pram, and we were thinking, it'd be nice to hold on to him if he, keeps scoring. But we were winning these games without him scoring the goals. The goals were coming from him.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's down to the emergence of Ollie Cooper, which I'm sure we'll get on to. But I completely agree with you in the fact that I know we've credited Russell Martin for the stubbornness maybe easing a bit, but I do think there's still bits of it there, and part of that is the constant desire to try and force Obafemi and Perot into the same team. So as soon as Obafemi's come back into the fold, he's trying it again, and it just does not work for me at the moment.
Even less than that. Like if you look at that Millwall game where we played, we conceded again. Sorry, right up at the last minute. That had nothing to do with us conceding. It had nothing to do with Russ Martin's tactics. It had nothing to do with anything. It was a stupid decision that came from Kyle Norton, and that's all it was. It wasn't a case of him, doing anything one minute. It was a decision that was made, and you've got to trust your players. And as a player, you have to take responsibility as well.
You mean the Sheffield game? Is that the one you're on about? The last minute. I
thought it was it Millwall or Sheffield where Kyle Norton should have lumped it straight into the.
Yeah, it was Sheffield United. That was.
Oh, was it?
Where he was 1-on-1 with Brewster and didn't bring him down.
Brewster, yeah.
Yeah.
But those moments, you have to say, well, my player needs to make that decision. He's a professional football player, and he's been playing the game for long enough. That's not up to anybody else on the field, not Bender, not Obafemi, not Perot. That's up to him, not Russell, nobody. So that's kind of where I stood as well. They were conceding these last-minute goals, but it's got nothing to do with the tactics. It's simple switching off.
Yeah, I think the last-minute goals conceded before the Sheffield games. It was like the Oxford game, the Millwall game, Stoke. I think perhaps maybe it was quite late in that game where Fisher got dropped as a result of that one. That was a mentality thing. I do think it's been addressed. I don't put the Sheffield one in the same bracket as those late collapses. They looked like game management issues. Can't see a game out, really doing stuff wrong at the end of the game. The Sheffield United one was like Patterson literally was in the box about to pull a trigger on a shot and then gets tackled. It gets hoofed down the other end, and all of a sudden Brewster was 1v1 with Norton. Like, it was a completely different sort of scenario, and we got a bit unlucky there. But Sheffield top of the league, it was still a good performance, and I think that's in the middle of what I would argue is still a good run, because the QPR game was before that, so it was 5 wins in 6 games. And the one defeat was a 1-0 loss to top of the league at the time, so the next defeat is also top of the league now, funnily enough. So maybe that's the theme. Don't play who's top. But yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, though. Like, that was a player lapse of concentration and not the tactics in that one. Yeah. So any more thoughts then on what perhaps has happened since we're going up to Burnley?
Am I the only one who just call me stupid? Didn't mind. Like, it's going to happen.
You're not going to win all your games.
Didn't have a meltdown.
And if we lose tomorrow, if we were to win tomorrow against Reading,
doesn't matter,
and we'd beaten Burnley, we would have been going into the derby with 7 straight wins. And I know form is nice.
It would be 7 and 8. So
yeah, that's horrible. I didn't want to go into the derby with 7 wins. I didn't want that streak to lose, to be lost against Cardiff. Like that can't happen.
Imagine that. They would have had something to fight for. And now I guess you could say our players have got to kind of regather themselves, switch back on, and show that it was just a blip, which maybe could work in our favour.
I think it was even.
Go on, sorry.
It was just even less than the blip. When you come up against a team like Burnley, who are quite clearly, they're a Premier League team. Yeah. Vincent Kompany knows this. He's been in the Premier League long enough. He knows how to get a team, to the Premier League, because he's played that kind of football for so long. You can't go up there and expect to walk over teams like that. Like you're going to get a lesson in football. It doesn't matter who you are. There's always going to be some team that's better than you on the day, and you just have to accept that.
I was talking to someone in work about. He's trying to wind me up. People was like, "Oh, what happened to the Swans in the weekend?" Liverpool fan he is. I was telling him he can't talk, but then he went and beat Man City, didn't he? So it was like, oh Jesus! Not that it matters their season; they're still now having a good one, are they? But anyway, that's irrelevant. I was just saying to him, I was like, "Look, the matter if it's 4-0. At the end of the day, it's a loss on the paper. If you go and beat Reading on Tuesday, it's still 1 loss in the last 6 games.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter what the result is on the day. It looks bad. You feel bad after it, and we did get thumped, but." Just bounce back against Reading, and that's all that matters. That's the important thing. Then, if we don't,
you've got to win your home game.
Go lose against Reading. Maybe start worrying a bit more going into Cardiff. But that's what the players have got to do now: is show that we didn't play well at Burnley. Let's put it right.
Exactly, and like I said, you've got to win your home games, or if you don't, you've got to perform at the home games, because that's where you're supposed to be formidable. You're supposed to have that fortress. Teams have got to be scared coming down. Yeah, it's different on the road, I know, and you might look to go to Burnley, maybe get a point. Okay, we got thumped, but you know what I'm trying to say. But if Burnley were coming down here, I wouldn't expect the 4-0.
Yeah, no, that's true. And Sam, you were saying about the accountability that Russell Martin's shown. Earlier in the season, he was kind of chucking it all on the players in some games, I think, throwing them right under the bus. Even to the extent of saying they gave the ball back to
Patterson throwing the ball.
Yeah, back to the team too quick for a throw-in. But after yesterday's game, he did acknowledge, and I think what he's basically was saying was, because we've been on this good winning run, he didn't want to change what they've been doing. However, a couple of weeks ago, when they first started thinking about Burnley away, they had a certain way they thought they were going to approach the game. But because they went in such good form, they kind of threw that away, just kept on doing the same thing. But obviously against, like you said, Alex, team coming down from the Premier League with all that quality, you perhaps can't always just do that. And he did admit to that mistake, Sam. So you're happy to see that, were you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's all I ask. Like, I don't mind that he got it wrong at all. I've never particularly minded that things have gone wrong. It's just, I think, like, the fact he's held his hands up and explained, look, I had this plan, and I think we can all get behind that. Like, if we completely changed our game plan and then it also didn't work, we all would have been sat here going, well, why on earth did he change it?
Yeah,
we'd won 4 in a row or whatever, So I kind of get where he was coming from. Why would you change it? Winning formula didn't work, but we moved. It's an away game, top of the league. Yeah, we got thumped, but
you got to take your medicine sometimes.
Yeah, come on, move on.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the detail of the team. I think another thing you got wrong was the selection. I know he was forced into bits of it, like Ryan Manning wasn't available, which was a massive shame. Lucky perhaps that we've got Latabodia back, but then I do question, like, Finlay Stevens, what's going on there? He's not really out there looking. The centre-back coming back from such a harsh shoulder injury, he's getting in that position ahead of him, and he's not right wing back, and that was fully exploited by Burnley as well. First 2 goals coming in from his flank, just didn't get near the cross, and it was an easy goal both times. You could argue the other side, Sorinola didn't track the run as well, so not the greatest outings for the wing backs. And the other thing I'd question is, again, like we said earlier, the 2 strikers. It didn't work. Bad form at the start of the season. They were there for most of it, where Joel Pro just couldn't get a sniff at goal. Was not working for him. Obafemi did okay. But if you're going to say Joel Pro is the one player that's going to go score 20 goals, don't you just want to put him like as close to the goal as you can? And when Obafemi had the transfer dilemma, he started scoring. And now he's come back into the team. Pro stopped scoring. Do you think there's anything behind this then?
I think there is, but I don't know if you can blame Obafemi. Really, I'm just not sure they work in the system. Whenever I've seen Perot play,
it's the selection of them both. I would rather.
Yeah. Whenever I see Perot play with Obafemi, Perot's like a midfielder. He's so deep, and for somebody who is just so lethal in front of goal last year, I can't really justify it, him being so deep. But then again, you want Obafemi up there as well. So this is where the problem lies, because you can't have 2 of them with our style of play, just standing all the way up there, can you? So I don't know. It's a tough one. I'll be interested to see obviously Perot's out now, isn't he? So I'll be interested to see what happens when he's back.
I think this kind of solves a problem that Swansea didn't even realise they had. Because with Joel Perot being out now, they now have to fill what is essentially a number 10 role, where Jamie Patterson now has a space, not necessarily to walk straight back into, but he has to compete with, oh my gosh, his
Ollie
name?
Cooper.
Ollie Cooper, there we are. Brandon Cooper, it's not him. But yeah, no, he has to compete with Ollie Cooper now for that space, but he doesn't have to compete with another one. So it's just those 2. Joel Perot's out of the picture. He doesn't need to play in that, number 10 role. Obafemi's up top. Doesn't have to worry about him. So I think if this red card was to come at a certain time, I think now was probably the right time from Jimmy Patterson's point of view.
I do think Patterson's injured, though. I don't think he's
ready
to come back.
I thought he was ready to come back.
I read earlier he's gone to see a specialist, so whether he's able to play or not, I'm not sure. But I guess we'll see tomorrow. But
that's made everything I've just said redundant. Then
I mean, it could be ready to come back. I was reading he's going to see a specialist. It could be a case of it's a niggle that's ongoing, so maybe he can play, but it's just playing through pain or something. I guess we'll see if he selects him tomorrow. But
If I was given the choice, I'd put Perot up front over Obafemi. Obafemi needs to play just to put himself in the shop window because it's very blatant that he's going to go in January, and that's fine with all of us as long as he gets as many goals as he can. You know, you got to accept that he's a footballer and he wants to progress his career. That's fine, you know. But treat us with respect and, you know, score as many goals as you can. And that's it. The sensible ones among us aren't going to hate you for it. They're not going to, have any sort of hard feelings. And that's just football. But
do you actually think
if I was given the choice, oh yeah, without a doubt. And I'm not going to, because that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I think if he can get as many goals for us as he can before Christmas, and that suits me fine as well.
Fair enough. I do believe Swansea have chosen not to appeal the red card as well, which has come out today, which I wasn't sure if they were or not. I don't know what your thoughts are on the actual incident.
I want to know where you stand on it just before I get into it.
I think it's a bit hard because as much as I want to say I'm not going to be biased, I feel like you're always going to be to a certain extent. For me, I looked at his head movement and he doesn't once turn around to see where the player on the floor is. But it's difficult. I can understand why the ref has seen it as a stamp. Maybe it's a sneaky one, but I personally think like there's not much in it, really. But it's the intent that gets him sent off. So it depends if you think he meant it or not. But then I mean,
don't think I actually know.
Area.
I don't know what Sam's opinion of it is.
I've changed my mind about 28 times on this. Okay. I can't make my mind up. I don't know if it was like malicious with intent, but it was definitely reckless and careless. Clumsy. Yeah. And like you've got to be doing better than that anyway, because it is just clumsy. But I think it is one of those ones that it sounds so stupid, but it does depend what colour shirt you're wearing. Like, it really does. Like, you could look at that. You know, if I was watching a game and it was between like Liverpool, I don't like Liverpool. Put it out there now. If it was like Liverpool and Man United, and a Liverpool player did that, I'd probably go red card. But if there's any other team I just didn't really care about, I'd probably think.
The way I was thinking was like I wouldn't have actually probably called for it if he was Burnley's player. I don't think I would have called for it because he's going backwards. His momentum going backwards. The player's basically rugby tackled him, and I think he's frustrated that he's not getting a free kick.
That's exactly what it is, I think.
And he's kind of not stamping, but like
if you take the player away, exactly. Yeah. If you take the player out of off the floor and just there's just green grass there. All he's doing is just stamping on the floor out of frustration. Yeah. Nobody's batting an eyelid at that.
And that's when I come to his head.
He didn't move his head. Exactly. He didn't look back. He didn't look at the floor. He didn't have, as far as he knew, there wasn't a player there. Maybe he did, but I don't think, he wanted to. But you've got to be more careful. You've got to be more careful.
The way he reacted, I think players who do that, even when it's cynical and they know they've done it, even if they're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but they're not going to show that. When they get sent off, I think they have a look of like, oh, got caught.
Yeah, got me.
But he didn't. He was like, what? I don't understand, and I do feel.
And without sounding biased, we watch Joel Perot, week in, week out, and we know that he's not that sort of player. Not everybody does, and I completely accept that Burnley fans would think he's this, that, or the other. But, he's not that kind of player, and that's not in his character to do that,
Yeah.
But, he got caught, and that's how it is.
To play devil's advocate, you could argue that the fact that, like... Actually lost my train of thought now. But I'll come back to that. I've literally lost my train of thought.
Play devil's advocate.
Yeah, there's no other option. It's not a red card. No, what I was going to say, I will come back to in a minute if I remember. But the other thing I was going to say is, what frustrated me about it was the ref didn't come back and book the original challenge, which was a yellow card all day. Like an absolute yellow card all day. He's literally not even gone for the ball. He's got his both arms wrapped around Perot, trying to bring him down. And I would feel like I could accept the red a bit more if the ref, your reaction, red card, but that was a foul, yellow card. Because then it's like you are still penalising the initial incident, and then you're saying you've reacted to it badly. Do you know what I mean? Like, but the fact that Perot's done that afterwards, he's kind of forgot the initial altercation, which is what you meant to be there to referee. You meant to be referee in the football game. He's only reacted like that because something's happened. So why have you You've just forgot
Are
about it.
Are you putting a claim in for VAR now for the Championship?
I don't think the VAR changes the decision.
Not the decision, but will VAR give the yellow card as well?
I don't think they're allowed, are they, for yellows?
No.
They're not, do they?
They would have just looked at
this
if
again
it's a red
makes
card
me
or not.
question VAR. This just makes me question VAR even further.
The only thing VAR could have been used for in that instance was to see, is it a red card? So they would have checked if there's intent.
But they would have just slowed it right, like to frame by frame, so it looked as if he had, gone for him in the balls or something. Something totally ridiculous. That's what it would have looked like.
Yeah, maybe. Do you know what? I'm really frustrated that I forgot the other.
Yeah, I just see it get into you. I can see it really get into you.
I had it in my head.
The cogs are going.
There's a bit of steam coming off his headphones.
I had it in my head when you were talking, and then when I started talking, I was like, oh, it's gone. It's literally gone. If it comes back, we might revisit this topic later on in the video. I wanted to go back to Ollie Cooper though, because you touched on Jamie Patterson coming into the squad. If he's available, let's just say he's available. I felt harsh that Ollie Cooper got dropped though, so I don't think Jamie Patterson walks back in, and I think Ollie Cooper has to come back in. I'm going to say maybe he's rotated because of the congestion of fixtures, so maybe we can put the whole two-striker thing down to that a little bit as well. But coming back to that issue as a whole, I think it's no surprise to me we started scoring more goals when all of a sudden we had two creative players behind the striker rather than a striker out wide or behind or whatever you want to call it, and one creative player, when sometimes that's Ncham, so half a creative player sometimes, I guess. I don't know your thoughts on him, or maybe you can touch on that later. But yeah, Ollie Cooper, I think, comes in if he plays with Kundal or Ncham or whoever it is. Just think it helps us just get more opportunities to somebody who can put them in the back of the net, and that showed in the form. So I don't know your thoughts on that, Sam.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Pater back in the team straight away. For me, I loved him last year. Since he signed that contract, I don't know if he's looked as arsed as he was last year. I don't know if I don't know what it is. A couple of times he's come on and he's just, I don't know, there's something missing. And Sham, I'm sure that guy just flips a coin before a game and goes, can I be arsed today? Heads or tails? Because it literally is on a flip of a coin. When he's good, he's good. When he's bad, he's bad.
Yeah, completely agree.
But I feel like Pato's been like that this season as well. I really feel like he's not turned up a lot. I don't know whether that's because he now feels safe with that contract. I don't know whether
weird.
I don't know whether that whole transfer saga last year was his way of sort of haggling for that contract. Now he's got it. Is he just content to just sort of see it out and play? I don't know. I think Cooper's been brilliant. I really do. I think he's probably been, for me, other than Manning, probably my favorite player to watch this season. Not necessarily player of the season, just my favorite to watch. I think he's just really exciting. He's something we haven't seen in a while. And he's he's one of our own, which is quite nice, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
Do you know what? Something really interesting though. Nobody's mentioned Joe Allen's absence. We've totally forgot about that because of how well Ollie Cooper's played.
To be honest, I said at the start of the season, I love Joe Allen to bits. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I love him. Really glad that he came back, but I said from the start he'll play about 4 games. His knees are like poppadoms, and then he'll just be injured all season. Like,
that's a good one.
Like, they are though, aren't they? Like,
I thought one was like a prawn cracker, but
there we are.
Do you know, the thing is though, I think the Swansea squad, like whoever's in sort of like the medical division of the Swansea team, I think they sneakily have got one eye on the World Cup for Joe Allen as well. Like I genuinely believe that they're not going to rush him back to like play in a white shirt because they know that December's creeping around the corner. I think, right, well, let's be fair to the whole country here and keep him fit because they know Wales need him as well. And I don't think we've missed him too much.
I don't think
we have.
If anything, I think we've played better without him.
Yeah, and I think
it's not even his fault.
I was going to say, Fulton's playing really well. Ollie Cooper's playing really well. Grimes is playing really well as well.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Allen's going to take anything away from the team when he does come back, but I don't think at the minute, it's a massive problem that he's not playing. Like, we're all right for now.
I think the thing is, right, Grimes and Allen are quite similar. I think they're not like the same player, don't get me wrong, but they do a more similar job than if you play in Grimes and Felton. I think Felton's more of he'll get stuck in a bit more, put a tackle in, shift his body weight around sort of thing. And that complements what Grimes is doing, which worked really well under Graham Potter and under Cooper. And that's why Felton's been such an integral part of the team for some time. And why last season when he was out of the team, he probably struggled a bit, because it was I was surprised that he got dropped. Obviously, it's because Downs came in and done so well. But I think, again, we've seen that Felton is a good player. He can suit the system. A lot of people gave him a lot of stick over the last year, which I thought was a bit unjustified. It was just if, like, you've forgotten everything he's done for the club in the last couple of seasons. And now because he's getting a couple of substitute appearances and he might look a bit rusty when he comes off the bench, you're giving him all this stick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a really, really valuable player to the team. I've always said that. Like, he's been here long enough to have a testimonial. So I think that says enough. Do you know what I mean?
I believe he's the longest serving player in the squad.
Yeah, I mean that adds up, to be honest with you. But it's good to see him. It's good to see him playing again. It's good to see him out in the field, and I'm really happy to watch him run around, chase the ball, do all the dog work, because I know we've got like Grimes that will clean up after him as well.
Yeah. I just remembered what I was going to say about the red card.
Oh, hey!
To play devil's advocate, right?
Were you there with me? Just
don't let me lose my train of thought now. So Joe Perreault playing in that deeper role, he's not getting the opportunities, he's not scoring as many goals as he wants. Perhaps he's looking frustrated on a pitch. You could argue maybe this is a result of that, and he has openly said in the past he's not, it's not his favourite position to play when he plays in that role. And I'm wondering if, like, when you're in a 4-0 defeat to Burnley and you just can't have a sniff of scoring, maybe it's coming out a little bit, you know what I mean? Maybe the season he's only had 4 goals so far, I believe. So could be a little bit of that, maybe. That's what I was going to say.
I'm no sports psychologist, but I am a terrible loser. So I can get behind that. I think that would probably be my reaction. So I didn't stamp it on somebody.
Yeah. Definitely a play.
I think
football,
Bristol missing. Oh, is he missing Bristol and Cardiff?
Yeah.
He's missing Bristol and Cardiff.
It's Bristol after Cardiff. His 3 games being confirmed.
So he's missing Reading, Cardiff, and Bristol. Those I know for a fact those are 3 games he's not going to want to miss. He's going to want to play in those games.
Who decided it was a good idea to put Swans, Cardiff, and then Bristol Swans?
I don't know, but I'd like to shake that person's hand, because what a fortnight we're having. What a fortnight.
Is there a break in between? No, it's literally the week after.
Yeah, it's the week after. Yeah, it's 23rd and 28th, 9th.
Yeah.
I would tickets. I've had my train ticket for ages now. But he's not going to want to miss those games. So when he comes back, I think we're going to see a bit more bite to him. I think he's going to be a little bit more lethal in front of goal, because he's not going to spend this time just sort of sitting down in his house wherever he lives and sort of feeling sorry for himself. He's going to be on the training pitch. He's going to be he's going to be burying goals against Fisher, against whoever the trainer, the goalkeeper trainer. Whoever.
It's not hard, mate.
I was going to say. He's going to want to score goals. He's going to want to come back. He's going to want to score goals. So I think this might be a bit of a turner for him in terms of his season, in terms of scoring goals.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, we can't talk about it yet, but I have the feeling that I would not like him to walk straight back into the team, but obviously that's going to depend on the form and who's playing well. So that's a conversation for like 3 weeks' time or whatever it is. Anyway, back to the points of the games. We talked about the red card. We've talked about a bit of the selection, the dilemma now that is to fill the void of Joe Perreault. But what were the defending? So for the Burnley game specifically, I think Latabodia, we come back to it again and again. He's not a right back. I do feel a bit sorry for him, because when we're playing against this team, it's not necessarily top quality. He does a decent job. He's never the most attacking there, but he can do okay. Really got caught out here. Although our right flank, I think, has been a target of a lot of teams lately. Even with Soranola there, he can't defend. I don't think. And I think his positional awareness is awful. He's never out there to block across. Also, though, Cabango's error. That was a little bit of a sucker punch for me. That stray pass that led to the 3rd goal. What did you make of his performance, especially with the World Cup knocking on the door?
I don't know if the World Cup, I don't think he's starting for Wales. He should be, in my opinion, because Chris Mepham is dunk. But I don't rate them. I'll say it now. Chris Mepham's rubbish. Cabango's better. But I was so disappointed with the straight pass. Like I've been saying for ages, Cabango looks so much more confident on the ball than he was last season. Every time he got the ball last season, I was like, oh, heck, here we go.
Yeah, same.
Like, and now he gets the ball. I honestly think he looks like one of the more comfortable defenders on the ball. Like Wood for me hasn't looked that comfortable at times. Others has looked very comfortable. Like he's another one, flip a coin. Like not in terms of his general performance, just how am I gonna do on the ball here? But for the most part, he's good.
Wood.
Yeah, for the most part, he's good. I'm liking him, and I'm quite impressed. But Cabango, I've loved his little transition into Martin. I think it's been really good. This is a blip, though, and you know, a player is always going to make mistakes like that.
I guess it's better to make it in a game where you're getting thumped 4-0.
Yeah, exactly.
Get all mistakes out of the way at the same time than it is to lose 4 games 1-0, isn't it? Like Jose Mourinho would say back in the day. Yeah, when I saw it, like you go in at 2-0, you go in halftime at 3-0. I just feel like I don't think we would have ever come back. But 2-0, maybe you can give it a go in the second half. I think 3-0 was like, right, now it's just let's not have 6.
Yeah.
So
I didn't hear. I panicked. I didn't hear. Did you hear the same thing, Sam? You did as well.
Definitely
right?
said the number 6 when I confirmed.
Let's not have. Oh, I was very kind of you there, Luke, but I'm all right.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll see what happens
if we beat Cardiff, and we consider,
But no, as far as the defenders go, I've been saying for a little while with Cabango, I feel like he needs another solid centre half next to him. I don't think Norton's cutting the mustard for him at the minute. I much prefer him next to Harry Darling because I feel like Harry Darling's a bit more solid. He's got a bit more pace with him. Like Nathan Wood, he's his own. He's progressed, come late September, early October. But he just feel every time I watch him run, I feel as if he's wearing like lead boots or he's running in sand or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he always seems to get there. He always seems to get there, and he seems to, he'll play the ball well. But I'm watching him, I feel like on edge all the time. Anytime he's going to the ball, or if anyone's coming to him. But with Cabango, I don't think I want to see him next to Norton anymore. I want to see Harry Darling in.
Norton's an interesting one. I think, right? I think he's just getting on, and I think the amount of game time that Martin is giving him is just too much. And I think he's had a couple of games where he's had a knock and he's gone down, and they haven't taken him off recently. And he's trying to play him 90 minutes every week. And what is he, 34? So
34, yeah.
I mean, he said he trusted him, and I think we all trust Kyle Norton. We know
when your legs are giving up,
exactly. You can only trust him for so long, and if you can only do 60 minutes, that's fine. If you only go one game in 3, that's fine.
Swap him out when you got 3 games a week. Just don't play him in the midweek game.
He hasn't got exactly.
On the ball, he's as good as he's ever been. He's impeccable on the ball for me. That's not the issue. Yeah. It's off the ball. That's the problem, I think.
Yeah, but again, it could be even if it's the mental reading the game with tiredness and fatigue if he's playing all these games, because I think he started the season fine. I think it's only in the last couple of games that he's kind of struggled a bit, but he have picked up a few knocks and he have come straight back into the team. And I just think maybe he just needs a bit of a break. It's not like I know a lot of people say oh, they get paid enough, they should just deal with it. It's like, well, no, he's at the age of a career where they don't play as much when they get to that age, unless you're someone like Ronaldo.
You can be paid all. Exactly, like Cristiano Ronaldo is a complete freak of nature, but he's been doing this. Like you can't stop your body. Like you can be paid all the money in the world, but you can't physically stop yourself from aging. And I think a lot of people got to remember that.
And if he's that experienced head you need in there to have that security and have that to calm it down and to control things at the back, then maybe look after him a bit more and use it where it's really needed. So if he's not starting that midweek game to have a rest, but then you're defending against Sunderland a one goal lead, backs up against the wall a little bit at the end, you can bring him on for the last 10 minutes.
Exactly. There's no need to play him the whole 90. Fetch him on for the last half hour or 20 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there could be come back to my stubbornness.
What I will say though is, I love it when Harry Darling plays because I always find myself in the stand saying, "Come on, Darling," and I feel like we have like a special bond. Do you know what I mean? Do you find yourself doing that?
Surprised it's not been some sort of chant that incorporates that sort of.
Well, I like Bender's new chant, to be honest.
Not heard it yet. Do you want to give us an impression? A rendition?
Bender in our goal.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
There's one for us all to get behind.
Let's hope it's a very big Bender on Sunday.
There we go.
I hope nobody clips this.
Well, yeah.
There's one for the TikTok.
I'll be on there tonight. Another viral video in the mix.
Swans cast cancelled.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. The last thing I want to touch about the Burnley game was the return of Liam Cullen, who's also been out injured. I was actually not expecting him back yet. What did he? He had a similar thing to that about you, didn't he? They both made quite fast recoveries from.
We got shoulder surgeon or something in the backroom staff.
Somebody's getting a good wage, isn't he?
Back in, I think.
Must
be it. They're just popping them back in around there.
Giving them a little bit of injections, is it?
Yeah,
must be. But yeah, so fair play. Timely, because obviously Perot's red card. At least we have a striker to put on the bench.
Is he a striker though?
Cullen.
Yeah,
I think he's primary a striker. Like, he's one of them that, because he's not really ever staked to claim to be first team, like starting striker all the time, he gets shoehorned into the other roles when he just needs to do a job. I think his role is a striker. Like, if he was going to say what he is, that's what he wants to be. I don't know. Maybe you got different.
I don't know. I'm not going to. I can't argue with that. I feel like that's that's a fair assessment of it. I've never seen him. I've always seen him as more of a wide player when he was playing.
I just don't think he does anything wide. He's a bit of. I thought he's a bit of a poacher.
Yeah. I feel a bit sorry for him, to be honest. I feel like every time he started to look like he's going to do something, he's got injured. Like with the
Forest game,
he scored 2 goals against Forest, and he then got injured. And then this season as well. Game? Yeah, we beat them like 4-1.
I think Ollie Cooper came on in that game. Might have scored.
Yeah, he did. I think he did.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have him there. At least we got a striker. I mean, it got Oko Flex, but I feel like I don't actually know why you signed him, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. I heard a lot of good. We heard a lot of good stuff about Oko Flex and about
Finley
Cundle as well.
Cundle's been right when he started.
He's been playing all right. But I don't know. I would like to see Oko Flex have a bit of game time, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think he brings something a bit different.
But Oko Flex just gets like 5 minutes at the end of a game sometimes. Not really enough to see what he can do.
I like it when the announcer, when Kevin Johns will say, and being replaced by number 17, Joe Perot, is Armstrong Oko Flex. I think that's a brilliant thing. I really enjoy it.
This is good. No, don't get me wrong. I want to see more of him. It's just another one of them situations where we've signed a couple of players on loan, like Finley Stevens, and I just feel like they're there to make up the numbers. And if you're going to do that, I'd rather just use people from our youth, like instead.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you just use Garrick rather than sending him on loan, or Whittaker or someone, rather than getting Oko Flex to sit there and play like 5 minutes a week? You know what I mean?
I don't think we'll see Garrick again. I got to be honest.
What's that?
I think that. I don't think we're going to see Garrick again.
No, I don't think so either. But this is what I don't get. We got no money to spend, but you go and get a loan player you're going to pay a certain amount of wages for, whereas you could just use one of these guys who's probably going to do the same job if you're going to give
Morgan Whittaker is the biggest one for me.
Yeah.
Like, he was
player
of the month in League One last month, wasn't he? I think. So
just don't get it. It's like, if you're going to give him barely any minutes, at least develop your own guys who you can potentially get some money for in the future.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the thinking behind Morgan Whittaker, though, just to keep on him for 2 minutes, because I think we send him down a league. I think the same thing was with Bender. Send him down a league, let him get that bit of experience. I think with Morgan Whittaker as well, he's up against League One defenders, and I think that'll toughen him up a bit as well. So maybe they'll do him.
Peterborough were up with us last year, weren't they, when Bender went there?
They might as well not have been no Luke, let's be honest.
Yeah,
he stood out in that team enough to get the experience to out Fisher, didn't he? So it was a good loan for him, even if they go relegated.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
But you obviously couldn't keep enough goals out because they're gone. Didn't they beat us at some point?
They beat us
from Peterborough. I can't remember. I don't think we.
No, I remember them. I remember them coming down here, and it was one of the most boring games of football. It was 3-0 at the last time to us, and at that point, I was ready to go home at that point. So boring.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what it is. I just thought they gave us a game, but I don't know. It was 3-2. One of them was. That's what I'm thinking of. We made it hard for ourselves, but ultimately got the win in the end.
It?
That's the Swansea way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone wants the Swansea way. That's it for you. Yeah. Anyway, let's look at the next game. So it's going to be Reading. So perhaps maybe Pro's not there. What changes, if any, we've got to make one. So what changes would we be looking to make going into the Reading game? I did speak to a Reading fan yesterday. Do you know what, right? You mentioned Matt Grimes earlier. Every time I do a match preview, I've been getting like people on from other podcasts to preview the games, get a bit of insight from their side. All the time. When I ask who you like looking forward to seeing from Swansea or who do you think could do a bit of damage, Matt Grimes is always mentioned. Always.
It's
and I think a lot of our fans hate him.
Plastered everywhere. That's the reason. Like when you watch him, I think I'm glad we got Matt Grimes as our captain. I'm glad he's in the club, blah blah blah. But his stats are just thrown everywhere on these like stupid football pages. Like, you know, Matt Grimes is up there with Iniesta in terms of pass. It doesn't make any sense. The stats that they're pulling out of their ass just does not make any sense, because they're saying, oh, his passing's this and his accuracy is that. But when you're passing the ball left and right and occasionally going forward, or
he had the most forward passes in the league last year.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm not on the same boat as you, Alex. Not going to lie.
I like Grimes a lot. I like Grimes a lot.
I do. I like it. I like him as much as the next guy, which just happens to be you.
Oh.
But I don't see these statistics as anything very special. Yeah. Forward passes, yes, but that's great if you're only passing it, 5 yards, 10 yards left, right to the goalkeeper. I don't know. I think they're silly. It's about as much good as XG for me.
I got a question for you, Alex. Who's got the most assists in Swansea City this season?
Oh, dear me. It's going to be... who's got the most assists?
I don't know this.
I feel like it's going to be Ryan Manning, is it?
Okay, so the answer to that question is Matt Grimes.
Oh, is it Matt Grimes?
Yeah.
How many?
I just think it's important because a lot of people criticise him for the lack of forward passing. He's got 3 assists this season. So
no, don't get me wrong. I wasn't criticising him.
No, not you. I just mean generally. Okay, yeah.
What I'm saying is, these stats where people compare him, and that's why these other teams are so terrified. But anyway, good for him. Congratulations on the.
My view on it, and I don't know what Sam will say to this, is Matt Grimes. It's the sort of player that you don't necessarily notice what he does. He's very quiet, like in terms of doing his job. Russell Martin's got him doing a certain job, and it's keeping the Swans ticking. So he does a lot of sideways and backwards passing because that's what he's asked to do to create space around him when he's spreading the ball around. And he's very, very good on the ball. And I think we've seen it so much that we take it for granted in a way. And I think that's why a lot of our fans get on his back a little bit, because they just, I guess, want more. But I think if you take him out of the team, and we haven't really seen the team without him in a long time. But I think if he gets injured, for example, right now, I think you see a completely different Swansea team on the pitch in terms of how we play in. And I would be a little bit worried about any playoff push. Say that's where we are now. If that's what we're looking at doing, maybe it's early days to say that, but based on our current position, say that's our goal, I would be very worried to say we're going to get anywhere near that if he got injured, because I just don't think anyone else there can do that job.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a case of, I don't think our fans, and a lot that maybe not the majority, but there's a certain vocal section who don't like Matt Grimes, who I think will only notice what Matt Grimes does and how good he is when he goes.
They'll notice everything the only things they notice now is the stuff he does wrong. Yeah. Because they'll notice it because it's a mistake. But they don't notice all the good stuff because 90% of the time you're doing the good stuff all the time, so you don't see it. Yeah. And when it comes to like, oh well, people argue he didn't create enough, he didn't pass forward enough. Take the assists away this season. That's not his job. That is not his job. He's the deepest midfielder. The other ones are there to be doing that. He's the one to get it to them.
My thing with Matt Grimes, if you compare him to anyone, I'd compare him to Lucas Leiva at Liverpool. back when Liverpool had him and, they were playing that way. Lucas Leiva often never got the plaudits for what he did. He was he got overlooked quite a bit. I think that's fair to say. But if you watched him and you just had the player camera on Lucas Leiva, the amount of important work that he would do, like breaking up the play and then starting, and he was doing a lot of stuff that Matt Grimes is doing now. So that's why Matt Grimes isn't getting the sort of recognition he deserves for the work he's doing. But like you said, if he was to get dropped or get injured or leave or whatever, we would miss him more than I think a lot of people realise.
I just find it interesting how he gets kind of more recognition from out of Swansea than he does. I think a lot of other team fans know he's a key player and know how good he is. Anyway, we are getting pushed for time, so we will move on swiftly. The last thing I'll say on the Lucas Leiva thing is I make the direct comparison, and people don't like it, with Matt Grimes and Leon Britton. They're not the same player exactly, but they do quite a similar job in the systems in front of them. The old Swansea way, the new Swansea way, if you like, we're trying to return sort of to the roots, Well, he's tasked with the same job Britton was. Britton was lauded and loved, and Matt Grimes just doesn't get that same...
I think...
I'm not saying he's the same level as Britton, don't get me wrong. But
no. If he stays a bit longer, though,
I
think we will see people sort of give him the love that Britton has got.
Yeah, I think we look back with fond memories when he's gotten, but it's
100%.
Also the whole social media wasn't there before as much as it is now, and I think it's easy for people to just, and it's always the loud ones are the ones that talk rubbish sometimes.
Exactly.
Anyway, quick fire questions then, Alex. Any changes for Reading?
Changes for Reading. Obviously, Pero's got to come out. Obafemi goes straight in. Ollie Cooper, I put Darlin in myself.
Who are you
and I
taking
know out? I'm taking Norton out. So I'm having a back three of Wood, Wood, Cabango, and Harry Darlin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going there. I'd love to see Manning come straight back in, but if you can't, you can't. I'm saying this now. The more I go through the team, I'd probably take Sorinola out as well. I'm changing everything.
So you're going to drop Sorinola and keep Latibodia, is it?
I'd probably keep Latibodia. I put Finn Stevens in for Sorinola. I'd put Harry Darlin in for Kyle Norton. Obviously, Obafemi's got to come in. We haven't got a choice for there. Did Ollie Cooper start the last game? I think he did he?
He started against Sunderland. He was on the bench against Burnley.
I'd leave him on the bench then. I'd bring him on, but I'd leave him on the bench.
So you're going to start instead of Pero then?
Obafemi.
Yeah, but he's already there. He started against Burnley.
Oh, did he? Oh, my mistake then. Oh, well, it's got to be Ollie Cooper then. It's got to be Ollie Cooper.
Alex watched the game.
Anyway, Sam, do you want to have a go?
I'd probably say exactly the same, to be honest. I'd start Ollie Cooper, though. I'd bring him in for Pro.
I'm just making that clear. That's all right.
I would bring him in for Perot, and I'd put Darlin in for Norton.
It was just funny because you went around in so many circles there, Alex. Like you said the same thing, then backtracked, then said it again, then backtracked, and got lost a little bit.
Politician,
Luke, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
I don't know how you put up
what
with
for
it.
Liz Truss's job, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, I mean, you couldn't do any worse with a pound, surely. How long she got left, I wonder. I've seen all them videos. What's going to last longer, Liz Truss or lettuce? Found that quite funny. I think the lettuce
Liz Truss or the next Liz Truss or Slaven Bilic or Watford.
Well,
that's the next Watford manager. That's surely the biggest question on everyone's lips. I never thought we'd end up at Liz Truss.
Well,
I didn't know what to expect.
She's the name on everyone's lips at the moment. Anyway, we're not going to touch on Cardiff. That would be for after Reading. But quickly then, I did say we're going to play a game. So we'll try and run through this quick before we finish. So what was the team when Swansea beat Reading 4-2 at Wembley? Now, what I'll do is I'll run through position. Say we start with Sam. You get a go. If you get it right, we'll go to Alex for the next one and so on and just see who gets the most by the end.
They have to be in order.
I'm going to tell you a position and you can see if you can answer it. Okay?
Right. Okay.
But I think with two of you, it's the easiest way to do it because
okay.
Yeah, we'll see who can get most points. Goalkeeper.
Doris de Vries.
Well done. It is Doris de Vries.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Alex. Right back. Sorry, you didn't come through very well then.
No. No, don't know.
No, you might clip now.
Angel Rangel.
Dwight Tiendali, mean. No,
Tiendali. I was going to say he wasn't there. Don't do it.
I'm joking. Yeah, it's Angel Rangel.
Tiendali.
Okay, Sam, centre back. You've got obviously two options here.
Gary Monk.
Gary Monk is correct. Alex, can you name the other?
Williams.
Ashley Williams is also correct. Okay. Left back, Sam.
Right.
My ass is doing this, Mike.
I know, same. I'm going to go for Alan Tate.
Oh, is it Alan Tate?
It is.
Yes,
I know it is. Yeah.
It's Alan Tate.
We all dreamed, didn't we? We all
Yeah.
dreamed of a team of Alan Tate.
Yes,
Yeah.
we did. Centre midfielder, Alex.
Leon
No,
Britton.
he was a centre back, wasn't he, Alex?
Well done.
Wait.
So a little Chelsea reference for us all there. I'm going Leon Britton as my first centre midfielder.
Oh, no.
Okay, Leon Britton is
Well,
correct.
I knew we'd have him.
Who was the other midfielder, Sam?
Hang on, let me count. So we got 4, we got 5.
Don't forget, guys,
6.
play along in the comments below if you are
Come on.
guessing the team with us. Write down. Be honest. Did you get them all? And write down who you got or who you got wrong. As
I'm
Alex,
gonna go.
as Sam debates his life here.
I'm going to go for Mark Gower.
Oh, Mark Gower. That's an interesting shout. And do you know what?
Oh, no, I've got it wrong. I know
You are wrong.
who it is.
But let's
I know
not
who it
give
is.
the answer away and see if it passes
know who
over
it
to
is.
Alex. Can you guess who the other midfielder is?
Stephen Dobby.
Oh, well, he wasn't the centre midfielder, but he was the
No,
centre
I know who
attacking
the other one
midfielder.
is.
So I'm going
Oh,
to give
right.
you a point. Because, I mean,
point.
you could argue it's still midfield, right? So I'm going to give you that. Now I'm going to give you, because it would be your goal, the other midfielder.
Right, hang on.
Do I get a point if I get this one now?
Was it Darren Pratley? Did he
Who will
start the
pass
game?
back over? Huh?
Bugger.
Darren Pratley is incorrect.
Oh, that's
He
what I
came on
thought it
then.
was.
He
was
came
there?
on. I know he definitely came on. Hang on.
Guys, I'm
It's
shocked
your
by
turn.
this.
It's your turn.
I
Sam.
am
This is going to be a really
Back to
obvious
Sam.
one, isn't it?
Back to
Oh,
Sam.
it's Joe Allen.
Yes.
Of course it is. Of course it's
Allen.
Joe Allen.
Okay,
It's
It's
back to
always
you,
the most
Sam.
obvious ones, though, isn't it? It's always
Okay.
the most obvious ones.
Two wingers. Can you name one?
Scott Sinclair.
Obviously.
Scott Sinclair is correct.
That's the only one my arsehole hasn't twitched.
Okay, Scott Sinclair. Can you name the other winger, Alex?
Stephen Dobby was the centre midfielder. Definitely he was an attacking midfielder, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go Nathan Dyer.
Nathan Dyer is correct. Can we
There we
name
are.
the striker?
The
striker
striker.
is,
Sam.
I want to say Fabio Barini.
Barini
FABIO.
Start in the playoff final. Okay. Let's move on to the bench. Alex.
Right, I said.
Here we go. Whoa. Reserve goalkeeper.
Oh my gosh. Reserve goalkeeper. Was it
Tough one.
Yves McAlumby?
Oh, fair play. He's got it. He's got it spot on.
I was convinced he was Cyril the Swan.
Some of
for
these
years.
ones are going to be tough, I think.
I would have gone for David Cottrell myself.
Well, we're not in midfielders yet.
Not Cottrell. What's his name? Cornell.
Di Cornell is the. Oh, right.
With
Yeah.
the
No,
man
it wasn't
bun
him.
now,
It was
wasn't
Matt Camberley. Defender then. There's one defender on the bench. Can you name who it was? Sam.
Oh, this is really hard now, isn't it?
On the bench.
I don't know whether to go rogue and just throw a guess out or whether, right, he's got to be a centre back, surely. He's got to be. Will be a full back. I can't even begin to think. So I'm going to go for
Go on.
Daniel Alfie or Alfie.
Daniel Alfalai.
That's incorrect. So, Alex, you get to go with this
He was
one.
a right
that's-
back when he was back in the
I
day.
think he was, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I
Oh.
didn't remember him ever playing very much, but
Neither do I. That's why I
Right.
thought he might be on the bench.
On the bench that season, I'm trying to
Oh,
think. Any clues or no?
no clues.
No clues. Wow. Okay. On the bench, so we had
Yeah, we got Tate Williams.
Monk, we had Ashley Williams,
Monk
and
and Rangel.
Monk, Rangel, and Neil Taylor.
It's not Neil Taylor because he got
No,
sent
he's
off in the
suspended, wasn't he?
semi-final.
Oh, yes, of course he was. I
Okay,
remember
so
watching that.
it was Albert Saran.
Oh, that's
You
a
only see him as
sneaky one.
I forgot about Alba Serrani. He's
That's
always a
a sneaky
midfielder in
one.
my head.
Okay, because that passed over to Alex, it's still on Alex for the first centre midfielder. So you can take I think you take the lead with this
You know
one.
what? I'll be fair to Sam. I already said one, so I'm going to say Andrea Orlandi. Don't tell me I got it
No.
wrong and I look stupid now.
No, Andre, you got 3 options, and
I picked
No,
someone
Andrea
Orlandi's not
Orlandi.
one of them.
Oh, well,
although
there we are.
I will say, actually, okay, this says 3 midfielders here, but one of the midfielders is also a defender. So he does both. So that's a little bit of a clue. But yes, 3 players, and Andrea
It's not
Orlandi
really
was
Luke. I
not
won't lie
there.
to you.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm saying
Sam,
Darren Pratley
back
then.
on you. You've got 3 midfielders before I reveal one if you get this wrong.
Mark Gower.
Mark Gower is correct. So that was a
Yeah.
Passover question, so it stays with you for a second go.
Right. Has he already said one?
Well, he got
Oh,
Andrea
really?
Orlandi and got it wrong.
Say mine.
Right.
2 left.
Pratley.
Pratley is correct.
I can't believe Andrea Orlandi went on the bench for that game.
Probably injured. He was injured all the time.
True.
Okay, Alex, a midfielder who could also consider to be defender.
Midfielder that I could consider to be a defender. Oh, mate, I'm struggling now. See, you're laughing now because I know you've got it in front of you.
Well, yeah, it's easy for me.
It's easy for you. This is so frustrating. Give me a letter. Give me the first letter.
I can't give you any clues.
No,
I
he's
haven't
not
done
gonna.
any for
He's not
Sam.
gonna.
It's not fair.
No,
Come
you're
on.
right. It's not
You're
fair.
going to give a guess and get it wrong.
It's not this. I know. He wasn't there. I know full well he'd gone by a Gorka Pintado.
What?
I just
wanted
want
to
to
say
get
no.
a name. I just want to
Just
get a name.
zero logic there. Just absolutely no
I know.
logic
A
whatsoever.
midfielder who could also be a defender. Gorka Pintato is not
I know.
correct.
I just wanted to get the spotlight.
I'm
off me, if
struggling
being
on this
honest.
one. I'm really struggling on this one.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is
Give
a
us-
defender. The way he smashed
Give
Savage,
us
is
the
he?
first name. Give us the not the first name. The first
Well,
letter.
let's
and then
have a
it's just gonna
look
be
at
buzzer
Sam's goal
effect.
now. He passes over, so
Nah, I can't even answer the guess, to be honest, without
Okay.
looking stupid. So
I'm not
Give
giving
the
either of you the
letter.
points. But what I will say is he also played for Cardiff.
Jazz Richards.
Yes, it was. So unlucky lads.
If he was there at that
He was
time.
defender, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was
right
through the
back.
youth academy in back then.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He could play midfield. He did play centre midfield sometimes for. I don't know if I think he'd done it once for us. But when he played elsewhere, he has. And Football Manager also tells you that. So I don't know if you play much Football Manager. But
Real name Ashley.
yes.
Where's Jazz come from then?
It's just nice, isn't it?
I don't know, mate. I have no idea.
Jazz
But I have met him
Richards.
once. I did meet him once. He personally came to deliver me tickets to the semi-final of the League Cup when we beat Chelsea. Well, we drew at home. I got a photo standing outside my student house with his nice
Was
little
it
car.
like everybody who won tickets got like a certain player? Is that
I
what it
didn't
was?
win tickets. I had a contact who knew him. So he just sorted me out.
Right.
And then he was
I
like,
thought it was like a competition.
and he was like, oh, go drop him off to him. He'll be like fanboy and all that sort of stuff. All of a sudden I met a Swans player before and he came to me. I was like, oh my God. He didn't care, obviously. He had a photo and then went. But then he did like a little, he was in Sketty on, I think, Western Street. And he did like a U-turn with his Merc in the middle of the road, like proper burnout, and then zoomed up the road, like trying to show off. I was like, but he was not even any good ever, was he, to be honest?
No, it's a bit of a cheat doing the U-turn, to be honest.
Yeah, so
What else have we got? How many left?
I think it's on Sam now, because that was a Passover with
Okay.
Jazz. Forward player. Striker. 2 strikers, right? So you got 2 you can pick.
Oh, I don't like this game. See, the only one I can remember is Barini. It's the only one I can remember.
There was a couple more that season. A couple I got sent back from loan. So can you name one of them?
Oh, I don't know.
Get in. I thought you would get hard when you get to the bench.
I think I've got one.
Are they hard? Are they
Okay,
difficult
keep it
ones? Are they?
No, you'll kick yourself when you hear the names.
I've got
Both of
one,
them?
I think.
Yeah.
I've got 3 options I've got in my head.
Oh, I have to wait to see if Sam gets it right first.
I know. I think
Sam's
one.
not going to get it right. I can
Say a
tell you
name.
that now.
Just say a name.
Give us the name.
I don't know. Who's play up front for us? Like, no, gone.
Say Coca Pintado or something
Yeah,
like that.
Coca Pintado. Yeah.
It's not Coca Pintado.
I honestly,
Not him
my
again.
mind has gone blank, guys.
Alex, do you want to go then?
Craig Beattie.
Craig Beattie was one of them.
Great
Well
shout
done.
that is.
And it's on you for the second as well.
These aren't my answers. These are 2
I
players.
can't start
wanna...
naming. I'm going to take whatever name comes out of your mouth.
Oh, I don't like it.
Otherwise, it passes
He's
over
tough,
to Sam.
He's
another
tough.
go.
He's tough.
Keep thinking,
right.
Sam.
Craig Beattie and Rory Donnelly.
I thought it was Rory Donnelly.
No, it's not Rory Donnelly. I'm sure he signed when we got to the.
I think he signed. He signed the year after, didn't he?
And he only ever played one game, and he was in the Europa League. Fun fact.
What a start!
It was away somewhere in like Kazan or something, or Galan, one of them, and it was like foggy as anything, and you couldn't hardly even see anything on the TV cameras, and it was a shocking game. And he never played again, funnily enough. But yes,
he's still there. Actually, he's still
another
playing.
striker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh right, okay. Can I have a nationality or not?
I think it's pretty local.
Horrible.
When we were in the
I was going to say if you gave it to him,
like all of the team, other than
all right.
Rangel,
So
Barini.
Does that mean he's Welsh?
A couple of non-local ones. Forget I said anything.
No, he's not Welsh then.
No, I'm not saying he could be. Maybe his mother's Welsh.
You've taken all my ones now. My mind has genuinely gone blank.
Okay, do you want me to just give it to you?
No, hang on, because he's up there.
You're not getting a point for this though, because you got it wrong.
You've already had a go.
Okay, well, I want to do it just for my own pride because.
Yeah, go on then. You're gonna have a go, but you're on it wrong.
These are who I don't think it is. These are
because
the game's over. I'm just throwing names out. It's not Tamas Priskin.
No, it's not. But he was there that season.
Oh, was he? Oh, it's not Chepri. Was it Schechter? No, he had come a couple of years after.
Against Wigan.
He was. I want to say Scottish.
You're wrong. That was Beattie you're thinking of.
He was definitely English then.
Yeah. Guys, it's got the same name as me, lads. Oh, the penny still haven't dropped.
No.
Luke
Moore.
Yes.
that was right at the.
See, I don't associate him with the Championship. I think about the first season in the Premier League with that goal against
City. About Man City.
Yeah. I always forget.
We signed him in January, I think, from Villa. And then was it January? I think. And then we got Barini and.
No, I can see his face. I can see Luke Moore's face on like the Championship. Like when they did like the teams and then the substitutes, I can see his face now.
Right. Okay.
Who won?
We haven't finished yet. Okay. This is probably easy, and I think we're on Sam. Can you name one of the goal scorers?
Oh well, Mr. Scotty Sinclair. You got
yes.
Got 3 of them,
I'm only giving you 1 point though, because that'll be harsh. Okay, he did score 3 times. Can you name the other one, Alex?
Doris? No, it was Stephen Dobby.
Yes, it was. I forgot to put the Reading ones in.
Right, the Reading one was it?
I got him here actually.
Was Shane Long a goal scorer?
No.
It was a defender.
Oh, it was. I know it. I know his name. K, I think.
You are?
With a K.
Nah, it doesn't. It's Matt Mills. I don't know.
Matt Mills. It was on the tip of my tongue, Matt Mills, then.
Okay. And Joe Allen on goal.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Allen on goal.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I must have forgotten.
Okay.
That means one thing. Playoff final this year. Swans Reading. Joe Allen was a winner.
So Joel scores the winner.
Right,
redemption.
last chance for points, lads. So starting with you,
Right.
Sam. Can you name one of the three substitutes? So like that is the player who came on and the player he came on for.
Oh, absolutely no
Flipping
chance. Who he came on for? I could.
Bonus points.
I
Go on, have a
reckon.
go.
I reckon
have a stab.
Pratley came on. I reckon Pratley came on. For. I don't know why, but I'm going to go Stephen Darby.
Oh, 100% correct.
Oh, well in.
So that's a bonus point.
I remember him coming on.
Sam. Now on Alex.
Um,
Name one of them. There's two options. We're not gonna go to the third one because that gives equal amount of guesses, if that makes sense. So,
yeah.
So you get
Right.
a chance. Two more. You can pick one of them. I'll give you another point.
I remember Pratley came on, but Sam's taken Pratley. So that means...
Well, yeah, we've just confirmed Pratley. Yeah.
Pratley's come on. Albert Sarandon come on.
Do you want me to remind you the bench?
Yes, please. I don't even bother with McAlumby.
Yves McAnally,
I
Albert
still think he
Sarandon,
was Cyril the Swan.
Mark Gower, Darren Pratley, Jazz Richards, Craig Beattie, Luke Moore.
Mark Gower came on. I seem to remember Mark Gower coming on.
Who did he come on for? I need the full substitute.
It was Mark Gower for Leon Britton.
That is correct.
You wet. Back on the net, boys!
And the last one was Luke Moore for Joe Allen. Okay, let's count the points. So, Sam, you have got 11 points.
I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Which is quite a good score. I think it's going to be tough to beat, I'll be honest.
I think he's
Alex, you've got 9.
9!
Come on!
Oh, it's a heartbreak.
Yeah.
So Sam, well done. You are the winner of this.
Alex, you're doing the editing for the next month.
What was the team when Swansea beat Reading 4-2 at Wembley in May 2011? So well done, Sam. First guest player of game. It's usually been me grilling Lee on his Swans knowledge. He's been quite good until the last one, and he had a bit of a mare. But well done.
Thank you.
Wasn't as easy as you thought in the end, was it?
Neither of us have covered ourselves in glory with that, particularly in the bench.
Yeah. Do you know, I was happy. I thought McAlumby might have picked me up a point, but I thought I might have nicked it with McAlumby. But
it was quite consistent. I think you had a couple of your steals when we were in the first team, and that's what's done it. So
you git.
Yeah. Well done. Anyway,
yeah,
I know we got a bit longer than expected. Sometimes this game just, it just
brings out your inner.
But it's all good. All worth it. But I would like to thank you both for coming on. Sam, if you'd like to do a little pitch again to let everyone know where they can find your stuff and perhaps what you do, because obviously you're not fully focused on just Swansea.
Yeah, no, we always do end up chatting about the Swans in some
we check them in
way or the other. But we're a bit daft. We got a couple of segments. We like a bit of a light-hearted news, a bit of a Room 101 idea where we just let people rant. And,
general football we go for.
Our favourite though is our What Football Means to Me, where we get typically comedians at the minute. We do we're collecting comedians and we're asking them what their favourite football memories are, and it's a good old laugh. So search up Send Him Off Podcast. You'll find us YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You'll find us, and on social media, Twitter, it's probably our most active at Send Him Off Pod. So yeah, come along.
Yes, and I'll try to remember to put the links below. So go and check them out. Go listen to some of their stuff. If you like football but want to listen to something a little bit different, it's just Swansea City all the time. That's the place to be, and you get a lot of different views from a lot of different people. So always interested to listen. I do try and listen when I can. I've listened to a couple recently, and it's a really good job, guys. So keep it up.
Oh, cheers.
But shall catch you soon, I guess. I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, everyone, let me know in the comments what you think about everything we discussed today. How well did you do in the game? What do you think about the thumping of Burnley? Is it like red flag? Do we need to worry about it? Or is it just a case of like, right, let's not over-exaggerate what's happened. Just one game, let's move on and bounce back. Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video as always and subscribe. We're nearly there at 500, so really appreciate everyone that's done it so far. And we shall catch you in the next videos. Thanks, boys, and see you again.